You're at your old trusty boat. You call mighty sparrow. I'm in the city of Mardi Gras.
Welcome to the Sailing into Oblivion podcast. I'm your host, Jerome Rand. All right, welcome to the podcast. Here we go. Today we've got a very special guest here aboard Mighty Sparrow. I would like to say an old friend. He feels like an old friend, but I think in reality it's been just a couple of months, I think, since he sailed in down here into Ladies Island, and he stuck around doing a few other things, but I'd like to welcome Jason. How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
All right, keep that microphone close. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Very nice. So I guess just what'd you sail in here on? I usually start with that question.
I got myself a 1978 Cal 2. It's a 25-footer. It's got a fin keel, 9-foot beam. It's a really strong boat. Small, but strong.
Strong. Yeah. Hey, sometimes that actually is part of the equation, because the bigger it is, the more structurally it's a little bit. It can't take what a small boat can. I always say it's like being in an eggshell. You know, you try and compress an egg on all sides and you can't break it because it's so small.
Also, it's like cheap on the pocket.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I hear you on that one. That's a major issue, I think, for a lot of small boat live aboard sailors.
For sure.
And how long have you been on it?
I bought the boat in late August, early September, up in Little River.
Of
South
2020?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Just last year. I just got on it. I've never sailed in my life.
That's awesome.
I had the dream for about, I'd say probably a year, maybe a year and a half, and just been, YouTubing it, looking up different boats. And
Well, where did that sort of dream, what sort of sparked it to sort of move away from sort of normal every day and actually grab a boat and sail off into the sunset?
Just probably boredom, really. I mean, I was just bored with everything. I'm 41 years old and been doing the same thing over and over, and I want some adventure, and I was like, okay. And I also like the nature. I prefer water. I like the land, but it was just a battle between, do I, buy an RV or like a van and convert it and just do the nomad thing.
Right.
I've always wanted to be a nomad. Like, I am a nomad.
It does. Well, there's something appealing about, I don't know, just trying to, I guess, experience life rather than work your way through it so you can save your money for when you're retired and old.
Oh,
and
man, it doesn't make sense to me. It never really did.
Well, and I'll tell you, I definitely have thought that many times it'd be just great to get like an old bus or like an old RV and just head out of town. I mean, you need some cash to do it, but you can also kind of work your way from place to place. But there's something about, I don't know, just that sort of traveling sort of mentality. I know that was a huge thing for me. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I've always been kind of a loner. Didn't really fit into the norm, I guess you would call it, or the blue collar or whatever. So I just wanted to get away, and I've always done that since I was about 18. I've traveled, a lot of the states and done different things, all kinds of different jobs. And being 41 years old now and done all this stuff, I was like, what haven't I done?
Right.
And I've had a slip in camper in my truck and done the states, but I was like, do I really want to do that? Do I want to like have to worry about cops telling me where I can park, or what the insurance prices are? My tire's going to go flat. What towns am I going to enter with all these people, and all this stuff.
Well, and the ocean definitely gives you a little bit more freedom, I would say. I mean, just being able to anchor wherever you want.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That definitely helps out a lot. But at the same time, anchoring your boat's not like parking in some, dirt road somewhere. You anchor in the
It
wrong
depends.
spot, and
Sometimes
that,
it's
that
pretty.
ocean gets a little angry at you.
Yeah, let's. I remember when I was leaving here. Actually, I talked to my good buddy Jerome, and he tells me, "Yeah, everything should be fine." 2 days later, I'm like about 2 miles outside of a hurricane, anchored out.
It was not a hurricane. But hey, you know what? Those stories, they just get better and better with age. So I think last time you told it, it was a tropical storm. Before that, it was
Yeah,
just a
it brought,
gale.
yeah, I was in between, but it was close, man. It was different. Like I said, I just started selling, so
Right.
get it.
Well, so you didn't, besides like watching YouTube videos and stuff, there wasn't any sort of sailing lessons or anything like that. It was pretty much like, give me that boat and I can handle it.
I remember one time I was in Boy Scouts. We went up to a camp, and I got on a sailboat, and I drove that thing so wrong. I ended up hitting the dock. I got kicked off the sailboat, got my license pulled.
Classic. There you go. All right, so we'll take that as a no.
That's definitely no.
Well, but that's not, honestly, for me, that's it's impressive just because you're willing to just go for it. I mean, so many people would never do something like that, and I think you should be proud of that. Just the fact that you ventured out. I mean, and you've been outside of the intercoastal. You've been in the big bad Atlantic, and
It's
you're still
pretty big bad too.
Yeah, it can be. It can
Yeah.
be. You've sailed. Your boat's still floating, and you're still alive. So
Well, one thing I've learned in the short time that I've been doing this is my boat will probably take on more than I can.
yes, they typically will. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
so-
These older boats, because what year was yours made?
78.
78. Yeah. Okay. I'm a 75. I think 74. So
Oh,
that was when they really built boats for seaworthiness rather than speed and
definitely.
interior design. Let's say, not harping on any boats out there like Hunters or anything like that. So where'd you pick the boat up at?
I was driving in. I bought my son a car. I'm originally from California, and I bought my son a car, and I took it to him. He's in the Army at the moment,
Yeah.
and he needed a car. He just turned 20, and needed a car. So I bought him a car, and then I actually went down and looked at the sailboat. It was kind of a quick call, I just was going to drop the car off, and I knew I was going to buy a boat, and I just left it up to the universe, kind of pick me out one, and
Was it in a boat yard out of the water, or
it was at a yacht club.
it was at a yacht club? So
Yeah.
in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So yeah, and I went to the boat and had my son come down and pick up the car, and that was the last time I had a car.
Holy smokes! Wow. And so, how long were you in the marina for? Sort of checking the boat out?
About a week, just to sit back and check it out, make sure I'm going to be able to go somewhere.
Right.
It being fresh, total fresh. I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah. Get some local knowledge and.
Yeah, and it was an adventure.
And so engine didn't work, correct? Or did it work?
Well, I was told that the engine worked.
Okay.
And then the guy that I bought the boat off of came down and tried to start it, did not start. He gave me 2 outboards that were crap. I ended up leaving the marina and going out to, Little River, where Bird's Island is, and I anchored. My first night, I lost my anchor.
Oh, man.
The road he gave me was just crap.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
learning all this stuff,
Hey,
right?
no, nothing wrong with that.
So I'm like, okay, it's either go or let go, you know what I mean? So I ended up just hitting the ocean, and it was the most beautifulest experience I've probably ever experienced in my life, really. Just going out and seeing the clouds look like nuclear bombs going off here. If you ever
Oh yeah,
seen that,
big
they're-
old cumulonimbus.
Oh, it's crazy. It's like,
They are.
wow.
Now where was that? Was that outside
Right outside Little River going south.
Little River going south? And how far was that north? Where were you headed down to Charleston at that point?
At that point, I was going south.
Oh, okay. It didn't even matter.
I
Gotcha.
don't really have a destination.
Right.
So it's more just, hop in it, see how this thing goes.
Gotcha. So you get out there. How far offshore were you?
Oh man, well, I was trying to learn. I didn't, like I said, I'm new. I didn't know anything about like the currents or the tides or anything, so I was really learning on experience.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of videos to give me kind of basics,
Right,
but
right.
I'm a hands-on kind of guy.
Yeah.
I could pretty much figure anything out. I just so basically I just went. The current was dragging me all kinds of places. Like I was trying to figure out how to set my sails and how to catch the wind with the current and just
Yeah, yeah.
all those little things, and it was rough, man. I went probably 30 miles out, I believe, and then
Oh, so you were out of sight of land.
oh yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Oh, it was awesome, man. I was sitting there, I was just screaming, doing the by myself thing, And
Right.
at this
Oh,
point,
yeah.
I have a dog now, but that point it was just me,
Yeah.
and I'm out there just talking to the universe and just
It's kind of like I always feel like Tom Hanks in Castaway when he finally lights the fire, and there's that scene he's on the beach. I have created fire. I love
That's
that
what it
scene.
is, really. It's that experience. It's that awareness, That specific day, I mean, there was only maybe 1 foot swells or something,
Yeah,
It was
so it was
really
calm.
calm, yeah.
Tranquil,
And the
beautiful.
dolphins were jumping next to me. They were following me.
Oh, so you got a
Um,
nice little welcome.
Oh, it was just beautiful, but it didn't last that long. I mean, it was, the first night the first night was good. The second night was all different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because at this point, I didn't, I just bought the boat, so I didn't have solar on it. I was all trying to figure out my electrical system and stuff.
Right.
Well, so I was heading south, and I ended up heading into Charleston. I was like, okay, that's my first destination, right?
And
So,
how far was that from where you started?
it was about, I want to say, maybe 100 miles.
Oh, okay, nice,
Yeah.
man.
So, I mean, it took me a while to get there. I was really trying to figure out everything.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have anything to go with because I didn't have, my auto tiller, my solar, really know how to use my cells,
Yeah.
and doing things. So it took me a long time. And one thing I learned right away is you got to always be on it, right? You got to see what's going on, all that stuff.
You can't just go down below and take
Oh, I
naps and
wish
watch
you could,
movies.
especially without an auto tiller. I mean, come on.
At least not in the beginning, let's
Oh
say.
yeah, well I went full force, so I go. Now I'm gonna skip ahead. 2 days later, I am I got a little tutu on the back of my boat, pushing my boat. Right, I'm going upwind, can't catch no sail whatsoever, because it's just I'm just not comfortable with it. I mean, it was. I got that delirious.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, where you can actually hear the sea talking to you. It's like,
Not getting a lot of sleep at that point.
oh
yeah.
man, it was messing with my head. I know I'm sane. I just that experience of doing that. I ended up calling in. I was hitting some good 6-8 foot swells at this time. There's a storm rolling through,
Yeah.
and I ended up going in the Charleston main channel.
Right,
Going
right.
in. I got big old boats around me. I'm running on this little tutu.
Huge
I got
tankers.
my I got my head sail out now because I'm
Is
able
it during the daytime?
No, this is at night.
At night?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
at
even
night.
better.
Right?
Wow.
Oh man, it's just intense, man. It was so yeah, it's been an experience. The first probably month was just hell.
Just
really.
nerves.
Just
a bag of
oh, and
nerves.
it's a test of strength, really, because it's like, do I really want to do this? Right.
But that's the thing is you kept going. I mean, you haven't a lot of people, they have this term called divorce boats out in Hawaii, where guys in the States will be like, have a midlife crisis, they'll buy a boat, either divorce their wife or they just do a big change, and they're like, I'm gonna go sail around the world, and the only stop from the West Coast is Hawaii. They get to Hawaii and then they put their boat up for sale, and they go right home, tail between
that
their
makes
legs.
total sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny too, because I was gonna go somewhere else with that, but now because I'm from California, I was looking, hey, am I gonna buy a boat in the Pacific or the Atlantic, right?
Right.
So I was, for one, the water's way deep in the Pacific, so
yeah.
there's no chance of survival. You know, you're thinking, well, you know, if I go down, I'm only 40 feet deep. You know,
Well,
no,
I mean,
that's kind of a
you
joke.
go 30 miles offshore, it gets pretty deep.
Well,
out
I mean,
there.
there's Catalina Island, and then you got Hawaii, right?
Oh yeah, in the
Yeah.
Pacific, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're basically just jumping into the void. I mean, you can do that in the Atlantic. You've got Bermuda, 600 miles out, and then you've got the Azores, 1,200 miles out. But
Right,
I
but
mean,
the
the
cool thing
ocean's the
about the
ocean.
Atlantic is you got where we're at. We get to experience the islands, you know, the southern islands.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much
yeah.
all the way from like North Carolina, the Outer Banks down is just like,
It's a big, yeah.
Oh,
it's
it's
like a
beautiful.
big sandbank, basically.
oh, it's so beautiful. It's just, you know, the wildlife and the
Well,
dolphins. The icy
Just
everything.
yeah, I mean, just having that intercoastal as a route to be able to get from point A to point B is huge. That definitely. I never really thought about that because the West Coast. I mean, that's it. You go.
Yeah, I mean, you're going
you
inland
go
to like
west
San
and you're-
Francisco. I mean, it's a beautiful bay. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so much of a different atmosphere.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I mean, here, I mean, with you know, within the seasons, I mean, you can go all the way up to New Hampshire, New York, where there's you know beautiful places to check out up there, and then in the wintertime you can go
You
all the
just
way
make
down.
your way back down. Yeah,
Right, right. Too bad
And
we
you
can't
can
get through
do it-
Panama anymore. I mean, it's going to cost you an arm and leg.
that's true. That's true. You got to go the long way around Cape Horn. if you wanna
Yeah,
do
and there's only a couple guys that's you know ballsy enough to do that.
it. Crazy enough.
That's crazy, man.
So you're going into Charleston. You're doing that at night. I mean, that to me that sounds like an absolute nightmare. I mean, I've come in here into Buford, which to get up to Ladies Island is about 20 miles or so from the end of the channel. And
Right.
it's zigging and zagging, but there's not I've never seen any big ships in here. Only a few fishing boats and stuff.
Oh man, okay. Now you just reminded me of another story. So I go up the thing and I've contacted a marina at this point.
Which one? Oh,
it was
City
a-
Marina?
It was the Charleston City Marina, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So I'm mindful. I don't even have all my electrics shut off at this point. Like everything's.
Yeah, because you had no way to charge your battery.
Oh yeah. So I'm totally like free selling.
my
That's it. That's
goodness.
all I got is my cells. My motors have dead. My
Oh, even the little outboards.
Oh yeah, my pull cord's broke. I mean, this guy has set me up.
yeah,
Dart,
right.
right?
Jeez.
So all I got is like 2 good cells, right? And I'm trying to get into this bay right at the cut where you go into you know the bridge where the big
Yeah.
battleship is and whatnot. And
Patriots
I'm,
Point.
and I'm trying to trying to catch the wind to sail up into this place so I can at least just tie off and sleep for the night, you know, because I'm delirious at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm coming around and I bust a U-turn to catch it, you know, coming up. And I look to my left and there's a full-on freight, like
900 feet.
not even that. Like, I'm talking 600. I'm like, oh crap. And somehow I got around just right, just to miss it. And I watched that thing. That thing was huge. And it was maybe 50, 75 feet away from me going across. It's like, dude, I'm not stopping for you, man.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably trying to call you on the radio. and all
Oh
that
yeah.
sort of
Oh yeah. That's
I'm
yeah,
sure.
You know.
stuff.
Yeah. That was
I'm surprised he didn't give you the 5 blasts.
I didn't get nothing.
Nothing.
But
huh?
I
Maybe
pulled
he
it
didn't
off.
even see it. Who knows?
You know, the thing is, I'm a natural. You know.
See, that's the sailor's attitude
It
right
really
there,
is,
folks.
though. You know. I mean,
Once
it's
you
just
get that boat,
either have it or you don't. You know.
I
You
tell
get,
ya.
you get used to it. It's
So-
funny.
how'd you get into the marina?
I pulled it off, man. I pulled it off.
You sailed. So you got inside that little.
I
L
got
or
in the
whatever?
little L right there, and I came up on the outside of it.
Wow.
No, the inside of it. Oh, I went around it like 3-4 times trying to, because the wind was just not coming right. Couldn't-
Right.
You know, and the current was kicking too. So, and it's a good little.
Jeez,
Wow.
that just sounds like a absolute nightmare to me. Nightmare.
Oh yeah, mind you, I didn't get no sleep for 2 days. So
Yeah,
it was
I
like,
know,
whoa.
right? Holy cow! Wow.
But
so you made it safe and sound, and what was that?
I fell asleep, woke up the next day with the guy screaming at me, telling me to get the hell off his dock. Because I mean, oh man, it's a great adventure. I wouldn't ask for anything else. You know, I'm no regrets.
yeah.
You know, it's I actually I wish I would have waited and maybe got a bigger boat per
Right.
se. But with what I'm working with, I mean, for me, it's fine.
Well, and it's your first boat. Always think of it that way. It's your
Oh, yeah.
first boat. So you get, you get some experience on this one. You get to the point where you can sail it. You'll be able to just tinker with the engine all you want because you can only go up with that if it's not working, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And and then you also are just going to learn basically, okay, well, the next one we're gonna fire that engine up before I hand my cash over, sort of thing, and all that. So
Yeah, it's an experience.
just
there,
learning
yeah.
lessons with this.
Oh
one,
yeah,
man.
for real, yeah.
And really, it's gonna give you a better idea of exactly what you're looking for the next one.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, it's the little nicks and crannies, the little eye dots, and the
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I mean, you'll get to a point where you do feel comfortable to sort of upgrade a little bit, little
Well, you know what
money in
you
your
want,
pocket.
you know?
Well, and then you fix that one up and try and make it as pretty as possible, and see if you can offload it to somebody else. But let
That's-
them know, the engine doesn't work unless we can somehow get it fixed.
Yeah, I think this one's actually salvageable though. I think
I'm
it's,
sure-
I think it's real something simple.
It turns over.
Yeah.
We just haven't gotten it to fire yet. That's it. That's a huge thing. When you turn that key and nothing happens, and you've got electricity to it, that's when you might as well start unbolting it from the boat.
And that might be an option.
No, we don't have to do. I'm pretty sure that one is still pretty good. If we get Aaron's engine to go, I'm pretty sure we can get yours to go.
That's good stuff.
No, but well,
No, shout out to Ladies Island Marina too. Just want to say this place is a beautiful place.
I know, isn't it? Dude, it's nice. It's quiet, but there's a good group of people. Every once in a while we'll get the bonfire rolling, and
Oh yeah.
it's pretty rare. But
We've had some good nights, crab nights. And,
oh yeah, crab night was great.
Oh man, and we act like sailors around here.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's one of those things where it seems like a real happy community of people, as far as there aren't any real disgruntled people, and if there are, they seem to stick on their own, and we don't see them. We don't have to interact with them and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
It's a good experience. This whole thing's been a good experience. Where I picked up the boat. Maybe it's just something to do with South Carolina. Really, I mean, there's just a
great
certain
state.
type of people here.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and they all seem to get along. I guess in the boating community, anyways.
Well, I think for me, I've just always felt like you should be happy if you've got a boat.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just one of those
like
things.
my best. There's a lot of people that'll go and buy rent their space at the marina, and they want the social community life of the sailing. And then there's people that are like me that kind of just want to go and anchor, get my supplies to where I'm taken care of and get lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just the two different lifestyles.
Well, when I'm down in the Caribbean, that's for sure what I like to do is basically dock up every once in a while if I need to replenish on water, food, all that sort of stuff. Maybe stay for one night, but then I want to go find my own little cove, anchor. I can sort of have my privacy. It's nice to, sometimes have other boats that raft up or stuff like that. But when I'm up here and it's cold out, I want to be on the dock, because I don't have a real shower on this boat. I mean,
right.
It's basically filling up a gallon jug, half with cold and half with
It
hot.
works, man. I'll tell you what.
No, it does. but
I'm there.
that shower up
Yeah.
there works really well, and that's just for me. I'm not saying it's good or bad one way or the other, but
Oh no, it's great.
can-
It's great to
you
get
can
a
do,
real
yeah.
shower, and that's something with the boating community that I think a lot of people don't realize getting into this. That if you are so used to living in your home and you have all your appliances and this and that, it gets a little tricky on a boat.
it
you
does.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to give up a decent amount of sort of the conveniences of normal life. Like you can if you've got a 60-foot trawler, then you're gonna have a microwave and an ice
$4,000
maker.
worth of batteries and
Yeah,
let's see,
exactly.
1,000 watts of solar on their deck, or something.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, and then on boats like we have, you're giving up a whole lot more, but it's also, I don't know, there's something about the
It's like a
simplicity.
freedom. Yeah. It's like, when I'm heating up my water to, do a bird bath or something, and I'm all out there by myself. And then, at first I'm like, well, this kind of sucks, right? And then after I'm like, damn, that wasn't too bad. Why am I always taking a shower?
Yeah, right? No,
Like, this
exactly.
works.
And it's more of an adventure. You're out there,
Yeah.
you're looking around, is anybody watching me? I'm going to dump this water on my head. Oh, I ran out and now I had to rinse with cold water, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get that normally.
There's some days when it's just nice. I was like, dude, I'll just jump in the water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
No, that's true. Well, and that's where the Caribbean really comes into play because you're jumping into aquamarine,
See,
crystal
that's
clear,
where,
just beautiful.
look
Look at the turtle. Look at the turtle.
That's cool. Yeah, it's I'd like to be there one day. I think when I first came in, I thought, I'm just gonna take off and go to the Bahamas or go to the Caribbean or do those things. And it's like getting out there on the ocean, actually going and doing it instead of just taking the ICW. Like
Right,
I don't want to call anybody out. You know what I'm saying? But get out there and experience, see what you're facing. And doing that, it puts an actual it is fear. I mean, people got to live with fear. Or else
Well, it definitely gives you perspective.
perspective, that's the word.
Whoa.
It's
Right.
like, oh God, like, yeah, this isn't just gonna happen that quick.
Well, but at the same time, obviously, yeah, it doesn't happen in a flash, but it's right now what you're doing is part of that journey,
right.
that overall journey. Because if the end goal is to get down to, I think when we talked before, it was like Venezuela or Brazil.
I was thinking like the American Virgin Islands, maybe down into like South.
Well, but the
America.
end goal was South America, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That's absolutely 100% doable. It's going to take more experience.
It's steps. It's
Yeah.
it's voyages. It's like baby steps. Really, it's get to know your boat. Get to know what's going to happen if something's going to break. Which with my boat, I'm really happy with it because I can pretty much look at it. And when I'm going, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna last. Like I'm not afraid of something snapping on me tomorrow because it's simple,
Yeah. There's
So-
nothing like crazy complex on it. I mean, you do have a furling unit, which I think sometimes those get a little finicky at times, but still,
yeah.
everything's pretty well dialed in. I don't see, when I look at your boat, I don't see a whole bunch of homemade crazy systems. that
Oh no, and
For some reason,
like
you
I mean,
think you're
just
gonna need.
just looking at like per se your neighbors, man, he's got every gadget on there. And it's like, dude, when you're actually out there, like you better be doing some like just basic selling, right? Because you get into some serious squalls. You got more lines on your boat than you can even think of, and all that. What happens? I mean, sure, it all runs back to the cabin. What happens if those lines get tangled up top? What are you going to do?
Well, and kind of relying on those more complicated systems, it makes you sort of complacent, and then you don't get to practice the just traditional sort of seamanship skills.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, if a system fails, then you're caught off guard because you have to go back to the old school way to do it. And that
Right.
is always, always bad because it's really, if there was one bit of advice I'd give to anybody, it was just, make sure you have those fundamentals down because
And then
your
run with it.
GPS isn't
Yeah.
going to save you. And, this line, that line, that's not going to do it. If it's
Now
having the
on
knowledge.
the for me, I mean, thinking about it logically, right?
Yeah.
The GPS and the radar and stuff like that, those are good to have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you want to know what's coming around you or people to see where you're at. I mean, for the most part, unless you just really want to disappear and then, haha, you can't see nothing.
Yeah.
You know
right.
what I mean? But, I mean, those are good to have, but I'm talking more the, like physical, your
Right,
physical
right.
stuff that you have to do. I mean, the way I look at it, I'm keeping this thing like totally simple. I don't even have a fridge in my boat.
Yeah.
I want this to be simple.
Does it have an
Right.
ice chest in it?
No, I do, but I don't use it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, I could probably use it as storage.
Right.
But I just we'll see how the summer goes. Let's say that.
True. There you go.
So but it doesn't have like the like I guess some boats your ice fridge, I guess you call it, where
Just a fridge, yeah. You've got either an ice box, which is basically just a
that
cooler
gets
that's
cold.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't have anything on my boat that gets cold. It's all just
you just throw a bag of ice in it.
right.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
dry
So that's an
ice or
ice
whatever,
box. Most or other boats will have a refrigerator, so it's got that little freezer section of like a mini fridge, but it's actually in the ice box.
Right, and there's like some way that some genius made that makes it cold without using a lot of power. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a
You
little tiny compressor pumping Freon.
It is what it is,
Shrink
man.
it down,
works
let it
great.
expand, it freezes, and then swing. It just
I like
does
the
whole
fridges that
system.
run off propane. You know,
I've
you
never
know,
seen one of those.
Oh man, you see them all the time in RVs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, if you
Oh,
could
right,
put
right,
one of
right.
those in a boat, it would be the most perfect thing. You get yourself a 20-gallon. That thing lasts a month.
Well,
You know,
the
if you
thing
use
is,
it
I've
just
got
for the fridge, though.
the electric one, the normal one, and my battery bank. That fridge will probably last a lot longer than my batteries will, like 5-10 years.
Wow. But how
Yeah,
many? I
yeah.
mean, is it? I mean, it depends on what you're running to. I mean, you're talking solar now, and you're getting into the
Yeah, I mean,
fundamentals of your amp hours and all that.
No, I've never even tried to estimate that stuff.
So I have a question, and this is a good question. I've looked up online a lot, and a lot of people don't, post this stuff, right?
Right,
So,
right.
what is like a good running amp? I run for example, when I do my charging and stuff, it'll bump up to like 14.4, right? And then it'll do that.
Wait,
and
you're
then it'll
talking
go,
about your volts.
right.
Okay.
So
The charge of the
right,
battery.
right. So when it's charging on my solar, it'll go up to say 14.4.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it'll cut back down into like your 13.7, 13.5, which is your, it's charged, but it's doing the, the trickle charge.
Mhm.
The, how it bumps down. It's got the
Yeah,
smart-
it's not delivering when a battery's getting charged, when the battery starts out half full
Mhm.
and you're delivering charge to it through solar or the engine or shore power, it's usually juicing it up, and that's why you'll see like 14.2, 14.4 going
Right.
into it. But once those batteries are absolutely topped off, then yeah, it'll back down because you don't want to keep pushing a battery because they'll do what's called gassing.
Yeah,
off.
gassing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good for your battery at all. It'll actually cause like corrosion around your plates, which will make it not want to charge more.
Right, exactly, yeah, and it gets this buildup. And funny enough, though, one of the techniques to get rid of that buildup is that you do. It's not equalization. Maybe it is, but you basically a lot of chargers will have it where you hit the batteries with like 16 volts for an
Burns
hour.
it off or
And
something.
it just rips it, but it gases most of the water out, so you have to refill that. It's like this sort of system you do to repair batteries.
now
I've done that a couple of times in
that-
my life on this boat, and it's
Well,
pretty
that's
interesting.
Yeah.
It just makes it hold a charge a lot longer. And
Right. Okay, now on that subject right there. So holding a charge and this and that, right? So I do all my solar every day I'm out there, and I'll watch my battery. It'll go down like at night to like say 12.8.
Yeah.
12.9, 12.8, and then it'll drop down to like 12.7. Some nights when I'm like clouds and stuff, I'll see it go down to 12.3,
Mhm.
12.2,
Mhm.
and I'm going, ooh, like this isn't good, stop, And so
Well, what are you running?
I'm nothing. Like I've told you, I do simple. Like I
There's
run my
nothing,
lights.
not a single-
Like I do my. I got my LED lights.
Okay, well, so you're running stuff. You're
I mean, I got my
using
LED
your-
lights. I do use my stereo when it's cloudy days. I cut back on that, and I charge
and
my phone.
the plot thickens. Well, I think we've isolated why your battery level drops a little.
Okay,
No,
so
that's
so
totally
the question,
natural.
so the question here, right? The question is, where am I in my battery level? Because I know I'm running. You're flooded, and like when it comes down to the voltage, what is too low?
Usually, what I've found, and again,
Because they say 11.9, but
I'm not an expert by any means at all. I'm pretty sure when I see, typically, if my batteries are starting to fall below 12, so if they get into the
Like
11.9,
11.9,
11.7,
right,
stuff like
right.
that, then I'm almost draining those suckers.
Right.
So I have to sort of cut back on what I'm using. Maybe the fridge
So
is
you don't
turned up
cut
too
back
high.
until you see 12.
No, I don't worry about it because I know that, the next day the solar's going to hit the panels and it's going to charge it all up. Because I have enough solar that if the sun comes out, my batteries are going to be float charging
Like
by,
that.
by like 2 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right. And you got what, 200 watt?
Up there, I want to say it's 300 something total in the two because I believe it's a 150 and a 180.
Oh yeah.
Can't be 100% sure, but no, I mean I always look at that. So typically, if I turn the shore power off and the charger off, which I do every once in a while,
You just said doo-doo.
do. It'll drop down to in the morning. It'll be at 12.2, 12.3. And that seems pretty normal.
Okay, so I'm like anxiety has like loosened up.
Yeah, don't worry about. I mean, if your batteries have a little hatch that you can like a little cap,
Yeah, definitely. You got to keep those.
you want to make sure the water
right.
is
And what on that note, I've watched a couple videos and listened to some people. They're saying like, don't fill it all the way up. Just fill it to where the top of the plates are because that's where the actual stuff happens. I don't know if it works or not. They're saying it gives room for the when you're in your 14.4s for the gas.
Right. It's one of those things where you hear so many different variations on what is the correct way to do something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm lost. I mean, I took off to go to the BVI one time from Charleston, and halfway through, I was noticing that the minute the sun went down, my batteries just dropped. And I went and looked, and they had basically gassed all the water, and I didn't have any battery water. I had to go for the next 4 or 5 days, I think. Really just
Burning.
not using much of anything at all and thinking that I had just destroyed those batteries. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch pure
So if you're
rain.
yeah, exactly. That's
You
what
could
I was going
use
to say.
rain in a
Oh,
pinch,
rain. No, but actually rain is really good because it comes from the sky. Now it's going to catch what particles are in the sky, right?
Well,
but it's
you don't want
actually
that.
distilled water.
You don't want that though. I mean, it can be used. The best stuff.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It could catch what particles are in the sky,
exactly.
but when you use rainwater, it's actually distilled water. So
Yeah.
if you do come into a pinch, get some rainwater.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and that's your way out.
Just make
on
sure there's
that.
not any salt water.
And there's
in there.
actually people that say that rainwater is better, than actual distilled.
kooks, dude. They're kooks.
I don't know. Who knows, man?
I like to get mine directly from an AC unit drip. That's distilled. Or just from the supermarket because it's only a gallon. Just don't forget to label it so you don't accidentally. There was one year where I had like 10 gallon jugs on the boat, and then one was the battery distilled water, and they all got mixed up somehow. I think the labels came off.
Huh.
I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm so weird.
That's cool.
No, but I don't know. And it's interesting to talk about this stuff because those are sort of the dilemmas and the puzzles that we all go through when we first start trying to figure out our boats. And I mean, I've been through all sorts of the wiring and all that stuff. I haven't replaced all of it, but I've replaced a lot of it on this boat. And I was never an expert at it by any means. It's just one of those things.
But
it's
that's
fun.
the thing about us is we're not experts. But we're willing to get into it.
Exactly.
And
And you get the right book in your hand and you take enough time and watch enough YouTube videos, you're going to be able to outsource the problems.
or create your own, or not problems.
Or,
You know?
right. I've done that before. Yikes. There's still a few fishy things around this boat that I've definitely created. But I think the engine is actually, knock on wood, I think it's sorted.
Nice.
It hasn't been. It started out.
It kind of
as-
fixed itself, huh?
No. Oh no,
No?
no. I fixed it. What?
Ah.
Fixed itself. No, I had to
Well, aren't you
replace.
just part of the boat? No.
I was getting fuel into the engine, so it was the oil level was going up astronomically,
Right.
and this was happening when the boat was here in the marina, and figured that it was actually fuel instead of water, mostly from the smell of it. But changed the injector pump or the
It's
lift
like a
pump,
float. Yeah.
the first pump, and then it was great. Everything held. I left it all just like I would normally out at sea, and then 2 days later, my bilge was not filled, but it had a decent amount of diesel in it, and it was just all the screws that were holding that new lift filter or lift
too tight
lift
or
pump,
something.
they weren't tight enough. I was able to turn them like 3 times each.
Oh wow! So you
Yeah,
just
so it
tightened
was
those
just
up, and
pouring
you were
out.
like,
And so far, again, knock on wood, it's been a couple of days. I've run the engine a couple times, and I haven't checked it yet today. But yesterday I checked it. There's no drips. The engine runs, and the oil level is right at the perfect line. So
nice.
I was really dreading that because it can turn into all sorts of nightmare issues, and I don't know. That's one of the things that sort of
Nobody
scares
wants
me.
to. No, I,
Yeah,
can't. I was gonna pop a joke right now, but
I'll go for it.
nobody wants to be an Aaron.
That's
Aaron,
an
if you're
inside-
listening, that was a total
inside
joke, man.
Our buddy Aaron's going to be on the podcast soon enough. As soon
Oh,
as he
man.
shows his face around here.
Shoo-wee.
Tell the bridge story. I can't wait to hear that one.
Oh yeah, right.
Well, and speaking of the bridge story, I got to hear the story about the rocks. You got to tell us about that.
Oh, going through Charleston up.
Yeah.
Holy crap! So
set us up. This
okay,
one's
so,
a good one, folks.
All right, back to when I went to the place, got yelled out, almost got kicked off. Which actually shout out to Charleston Marina as well, the city of Charleston. The guy, the dock master, is awesome. Don't ask me his name right now, but if you ever go there, he's way cool. Anyways, he helped me out, and I got my 2.2 running. So I got a 2.2 right on the back of my sail, 25. I'm going maybe 3 knots max, right? And and I have no idea how the currents work yet.
Right.
So I'm coming in low tide. I go through. I think it's right there by James Island, I believe. There's a bridge there I had to get lifted, which that's a story in itself.
Okay, so you're coming from the intercoastal into Charleston.
From Charleston, going onto the ICW, going down by Wamala, coming down to Beaufort.
Okay, gotcha.
So right there's a bridge. Man, I wish I remembered. It's like Wahoo Bridge or something like that.
Right.
Get that one lifted. I didn't know. First time lifting a bridge.
Yeah, would you just because you?
I called him in.
But
on
my cell phone?
on the
VHF.
Yeah, on my VHF, but I never really used the VHF. So I'm like, and it's inside my galley.
Unsafe at any speed.
Oh my God. So I'm like doing this and I'm like calling her, trying to get all these things going. I look up and I'm like heading right towards the bank, and I end up in between a dock, got to get pulled out. Like it was one hell of a ride right there, but I got out. And then they finally lift the bridge. I'm like, yeah, get through it. I'm all excited. I, accomplished something that was like, falling apart.
Hey, little victory right there.
Right. So imagine this little 25 footer, right? 2.2 on the back, going current's coming down. I'm going in between that thing is 150 foot wide at the most, maybe 100 feet. 75 feet going up through the Wahoo Bridge on that little cut.
Okay, I've never been there.
Okay, well, if you ever been there, it's insane, right? And especially if you're going up the current.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm literally going up this thing, and I'm looking at. There's all these people's backyards, right? There's this guy over there barbecuing, right? And I wave to him.
Right.
And 2 minutes later, I'm maybe 5 foot ahead going,
oh, so
"Hi."
you're going into the
Oh my gosh.
Gotcha.
And I have no power, right? I'm trying, and these speedboats are going by me like zurn, 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 and I'm already got rapids coming down, right? If I lose any control of this, I'm going right into the rocks. It's gonna be a bad show, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And it was insane. And that was an experience because that's when your heart's going, holy crap.
Well, when you can see that danger there, because rocks and boats don't mix, and
at all,
sort of like almost a guaranteed game over sometimes.
Oh, it was scary because I knew that going on a 2.2 and it wasn't even that good of one. So
right.
I'm catching
the whole
like
time
a quarter
thinking,
knot
oh
the whole way up.
Is it gonna die? I worry about that on my boat when I'm sitting there waiting for the Ladies Island Bridge. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
that I'm a big proponent of Murphy's Law, and it's sort of like, well, the time for my engine to die would be right by Ladies Island Bridge. Where I'm
Right.
sitting there waiting, and he's going to open it. My engine's going to die, and then I'm going to panic and try and figure out how in the heck I can deal with this. But again, that's where sort of a little bit of pre-planning starts to come
Well,
into
and
play.
then that has to do with the boat too. I mean, you're on a 32-foot Westsail. I'm on
Yeah.
a 25-foot Cal. I can maneuver my boat like on a dime.
Yeah,
You know, it's like that's one thing I like about my boat. I can catch the current and just come in just right, and I could, I mean, I can write names with my boat easy. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? When you got a bigger boat, you really have to like know what you're doing to get
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean,
you
and
know.
it has to. If this boat plows into something, like that, something's gonna get a lot of damage too. And I don't have a paycheck for that sort of stuff.
Right. That's funny.
But so okay, so you make it down here. Was that the last trip from Charleston down to here?
No. No,
Give me more. Fill me in.
Oh man, I come here like pretty much dead in the water. I got stuck over in Wabala, at a place called Cherry Point Seafood Company. I'll just throw their name out there too. There you
Nice
go.
shout out.
They're really good people, man. Met some really good people, and I didn't have an anchor for a while, so I was stuck on a public dock, but it was out in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
and like there was no shops or anything. You know, like it was like okay.
End of a dirt road.
Oh man, it was just like holy crap. But you know, I got a lot of help from the locals and just worked on this and that. Ended up getting I got a propane, one of them 5-horse Mercury sailboat motor, 30-inch shaft.
Is that the one that you have on
That's
there now?
the one on the back now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a good motor. I enjoy it. It's very quiet, but it's really hard to get propane on a boat. You know.
Yeah, well, last time I saw you, I think didn't you have like 3 or 4 tanks on there or
I
something?
got 5 now.
5 tanks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're like a sailing bomb. But I shouldn't say anything because I have, I think 4 tanks on my boat. So they're the smaller ones, but I have one big one.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 5 big ones, but it's convenient. It's I don't know. I need to work on my motor, but I mean for that, as it is, I came in here. Okay, now we're going back. See, I get
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
No,
I
it's
just
all
did a
good.
big old
Don't worry.
circle back,
We're
just like
just-
our.
We're gonna get through the whole saga of how you got from that marina that beautiful day where you bought the boat,
Holy crap!
kicked back on the foredeck, cracked a beer, and just looked out at the world a different way, all the way down to right here, right now at Ladies Island Marina.
Yeah, so okay, all right. So I went and I was kicking back there. I ended up.
You're on the public
How
dock.
did I do it that time? See, now I can't remember if I took the ocean actually. Okay, so finally I got things ready. Took me a while to get all the things I needed to take off again, right?
Right. And you've got a working.
Well, I had to get an
outboard engine.
anchor and a rod and chain and
Right,
motor and my electric going and my solar. So I got my solar hooked up.
Did you have
somewhat.
your solar? Oh, okay. Because
Right.
you just had it laying on the
I didn't have nothing.
deck, right?
I had to
Okay,
order
okay.
all this. I did it
Gotcha.
over at the,
I'm as you're trying to remember. I'm trying to picture what your boat was like.
Right.
When I got down here.
Oh, it had nothing on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I ended up. So I left Wadmalaw because there was nothing there. I needed to get more towards civilization so I can get things right.
Yeah.
Supplies and work on the boat and this and that. I ended up coming down. Went to the ocean. Came in the. Oh man, I don't know. It's where Morgan Island is. I don't know.
Oh,
what that cut is right there.
it's like the St. Helena Sound.
St. Helena. Yeah.
St. Helena, yeah. And
The sound-
that's a sketchy
Oh hell.
place to come in and out of. It's a very narrow, twisty channel that goes on for a while.
The first time I came in on it was good. I mean, I saw the, where you can bottom out and this and that, and I got in because when you're coming in from the north, you can catch the inside, right? So it'd be the inside right there.
So Jason 1, St. Helen Channel 0.
Exactly, right?
Nice. All right.
Yeah, I
That's
got
where
that
we
one.
started.
So then, So I came in, everything was good. I wanted to go see the monkeys on the island, so I went to the backside of Monkey Island, which is on the main channel.
Right.
Okay, and went in this little creek, anchored out right there. It was pretty cool. Came in at night. I was looking at my charts, and it just looked like Marsh
Again
all
with the
around.
night entries. Jeez.
Dude, I like all the night stuff.
You do, man. You must have good vision or something. I hate it. Anytime
I'm
I can
actually going
avoid-
off radar, really, and then
Jeez.
what I see, and make that point, when I went to anchor, there was just marsh, and there was supposed to be this little creek, and I couldn't see the creek at all, so I did like a quick 180 and like backed up through my anchor, you know what I mean?
I will literally go and sit hove to outside of any place that I've never. Well, I shouldn't say that, but any busy place that's difficult to get into. I won't even try it. I'll just wait. I'll hove to out there. No big deal. I got no. I'm in no rush, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I'm a fraidy cat when it comes to obstacles and things. That's why I'm really comfortable in the open ocean.
Right.
Yeah. So you get in there, and what? So okay, yeah, keep going. So you
Okay,
get
yeah.
in there.
So I get in there and I get down here to Ladies Island, got my boat fixed up,
That was when we met. When
Right,
we finally
right.
got down in here.
exactly, and you were gone. You actually came in after your trip that you did that was canceled, and then you ended up making a trip out. See, that's one thing I like about you, man. Like, you could have totally just said, screw it. You know, I got all this stuff on there. I guess I'll have to sell it. I'm not going to eat. But your intention was, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have some fun. I can do this. And you ended up going where? Like Europe, down to Africa, back up the Caribbean.
Yeah, well, I did the Atlantic loop basically without being able to stop anywhere because we were in the height of things at that point. But yeah, I was out 88 days for that one.
Nice.
10,000 miles.
That's insane.
But
man.
I had no choice in the I mean, I could have tried to go back to Maine, but I would have been beating into the wind, and there were already storm systems that were headed up there. I think at least one of them was a hurricane, so I didn't want to tangle with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But okay, so that brings you right back down to here. And
Right.
then you were gone for a little bit, but now you're just doing the cleanup and you're going to be out on the mooring buoy, right?
That is what I'm going to do. But so let's go back to me going. So I got this bright idea. Well, I'm going to go up to Charleston and go hang out for a little bit, right? Old Jerome here, hey, yeah, you'll be fine. I mean, the guy that's been around the world, been through everything.
Well, now to be fair, we looked at the weather.
We did,
knew
we
it was
did.
going to be windy, and
And it looked calm, but it was not. It did not hit right.
well, it looked calm in like real life when you were out there.
Well, on your charts, you're like, okay, but then in
on
real life,
windy,
it's like,
yeah. Well, because windy has this really, it's more for those marine forecasts, I guess, because it'll be blowing 2 miles off the coast of Charleston. It's blowing 50, but then it just goes green. It's blowing like 10 knots for everything right to the land, which makes no sense at all. But
so going
yeah.
back to the Morgan Island, the St. Helena Sound, right there.
Yeah.
So that was my second attempt. This is where I went 1-1.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I was going, and I'm trying to come out, and when you're leaving, if you're on the front side of Morgan Island, it actually is real shallow and it goes into the main cut, right? So there's like an opening right there, and the sandbanks change up on you. So whatever you see on your maps isn't really like, it could be that way or it could not be that way.
Right.
With your depths. So, I mean, it's really good to have a depth finder, which I don't have.
Me neither.
But and so I'm coming up, and I'm getting in, and if you look to your left, that's where the shallow is right there, where the banks are, and there's a bunch of waves and stuff. So, and there's a little cut on the right too. Well, there's a bunch of islands on the right too. So there's this little spot you can get in, and if you don't hit it right, it's very hard to get out. I was going to say a cuss word, but trying to keep it clean.
Nice. Appreciate that.
So when you're going out, well, I'm going, and the waves are kicking up, this and that. And I'm like, I got this, and I'm going, and I'm fighting the waves a little bit. Man, I get right up into it, maybe right at pretty much the line to the land and the water, if that makes any sense,
Right
like,
at the coastline.
Right when you're going to get out of it. But I'm in the middle of it, right?
Right.
And holy crap, I was getting just knocked around. It was probably the most intense that I've been in.
Yeah.
It was like I was getting swells like 3 different ways.
Right.
It was like a big
'cause
toilet bowl.
It's all getting broken up on the shoals all around you.
Oh yeah, it came up. it's got my boat going up, and I came down like, and then it pushed me to the left, and then like sucked me around, turned my boat around. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? I'm in a toilet bowl sucking me down.
Yeah, right.
And I've heard stories about that. Like there's people that have literally like dropped all their stuff, got their boat sideways to try to come in that cut, and I mean man, these war stories I've heard about that. And well, I got my little bit of experience. And then that's when I was like, I learned the okay, enough's enough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I was like, dude, I got to turn around right now.
Good man.
And I did. I turned around. I caught the waves. It was kind of hard to get my cut, but I got in. And then I, caught the waves back in, and then I just went up to ICW at that point.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, that was my 1-on-1 right there, right there. And then
dead even.
Yeah, it's
well, it is. It's a hairy. I mean, this one is a deep water channel pretty much the whole way.
Right.
It's pretty well marked, and it's just long. It's like 25 miles just to get out to the sea.
Oh yeah.
And then you got to go all the way up there. So.
Well, and then even getting close in because of all the, your sandbanks and your, this and that out there.
Oh yeah,
It's,
no, for sure.
Low tide, you got to be real careful around here.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And it still amazes me. I mean, I'm used to the big range of tides up north, up in Maine, obviously, Gloucester, that sort of stuff. For some reason, I didn't think they were as dramatic down here, but they definitely are. Just watching these floating docks we're on, how the big range.
Oh yeah, I mean we lose 8-9 feet sometimes.
Something. I mean it's up there. Yeah. Well, so what sort of advice would you give to anybody who came to you and said, "Man, I've always dreamt about getting on a boat, getting a boat. I hate my job. I want something different." What would you tell them?
Oh man,
it's a bit of a loaded question, I guess, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many things you can tell them. Just live your life. I mean, if it's really think about it. Is it really something you want to do? Are you willing to make the sacrifice?
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Put in the work.
Yeah. Are you? I mean, how many? When you're sitting there and you got anxiety, you're like, I'm bored. Are you willing just to sit back and meditate, and just enjoy where you're at?
Right.
Because there's a lot of that. I mean, let's be true. There's a lot of just dead time. And I mean, you can make life. Jerome makes a lot of life. I really just like sitting back and doing nothing.
Scrolling through old TikTok a little too much.
Yeah. TikTok and checking out things, which is fun. But I mean, to each their own. But it's just a different lifestyle. You're gonna have really good times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you're gonna have really, I wouldn't call them bad times. Just
maybe like learning moments.
Moments, yeah, I would have to say.
You're always going to end up with a story to tell.
Learning about yourself moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's really what it is. And it's not for everybody. Some dreams are supposed to be kept as dreams.
Now, yeah. Well, and on that, just thinking about it, if somebody said, "Well, what should I do? What should my first steps be if I wanted to get onto a boat?" After going through what you've gone through, what do you think would make it easier for somebody? Or
buy a boat with the title.
Let's say safer.
Buy a boat with the title.
Okay, that's number one. Yeah, because you still have to sort that out.
Bring somebody. Here's a good one. Bring somebody that knows about boats.
There you go.
Yeah,
nice. Okay.
Because
when you're looking at them,
right? When you're looking at them, I was lucky that I have a boat with a good strong hull. All the through hulls are good. The research that I did on the boat was good for the strong points, but what about all those little points? Does it have paneling on the inside? How's it going to, deal with cold nights?
Right.
You know what I mean? Just the little things, is the electric looking good? How are your pipes?
Well, and that sort of stuff that when I bought this boat, I really didn't have a huge amount of knowledge. I had a decent amount, but not much as far as the engine went. I mean, it ran. I made the guy run it. It looked good. But I also didn't say, well, take it up to 1,800 RPMs and let's let it sit there for an hour and see if she overheats.
Right.
So I would add not only to have a friend, but don't be timid about it.
But another thing I would say is like on a money scale. Oh, it's like, make sure you have enough money or this and that. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
You'll never have enough money.
Yeah, I don't want to put boundaries in between. I didn't have a lot of money,
No.
but are you willing for the sacrifice? And that's the thing, is the willingness. If you're a weak person to where you can't handle things and you need to, call home every night or stuff like that, which is good.
I talk to my mom.
Oh no, it's great, but you know what I mean. Like
I know.
it's family's number one. But it's just that it takes a certain person. The idea is great. Maybe.
Well, but you know what though? I think that person can be brought out of somebody.
Sure.
By a boat.
Sure.
By experiencing some of the things that you have to experience, as long as they're willing to stick it out.
Right.
And punish.
And thoughts
your way
create
through it.
too. So.
Yeah.
The thought there might just make you that person.
Well, and might I add to sort of steps you definitely want to take would be, if you can and have the means, get the boat surveyed before you buy any boat. Because
True.
that will basically, those guys will find any little faults and things like that. And usually that means the boat gets hauled out of the water.
Well, that just scared me, man. Let's not talk about this.
No, yeah, don't worry about it.
I'm like, I don't know. Is my boat okay? You got me sketching now.
Yeah, right. Or find one that's been surveyed recently, sort of thing.
Right. Or one that somebody, is taking care of it.
Well, that's true. I mean, but it's kind of this trade-off between, you almost want to find that boat that's been neglected so it's not as expensive, but you don't want to find one that's been neglected
Just
to the point where it doesn't work anymore and everything's going to break.
Everything's like delaminating and
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, there's pros and cons, but I guess in the end, my last question would be like, are you glad that you got a boat?
Oh yeah, for sure. I wouldn't change it for the world.
There's so much honesty in his eyes right now, folks.
And there's days that I wonder the same question, should I be somewhere else or should I be doing this? At the moment, I'm so glad that I am doing what I'm doing. The people that I've met, the places that I've seen, the animals, the water, the situations, the environment. I mean, just everything.
Yeah.
It's really just been a soul grabber for me.
Nice.
It makes me feel like an individual. And that's something I was missing for a long time.
Well, you're a sailor now, so you need to get yourself a nice little passage under your belt one of these days. Maybe
It's
just
coming,
from here
it's
to
coming.
Charleston or something like that, where you actually you go offshore, you do at least one night, maybe two, and you get there via your sails, and we'll get you there for sure. I mean, you're going to be down here for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Being in this thing, I could be gone tomorrow.
I know.
I don't know.
That's another perk.
And that's
of a boat,
down here. There's a lot of people that are friendly, and I've gained some friends here.
Yeah.
But there's always that thought. Well, if there's friends here, there's got to be friends somewhere else too.
It's true. It's true.
And I didn't just walk into this.
Right.
It's like I didn't come. Oh, hey, I got friends down here. No, everybody that I met here was people that I've opened up to, and if you're, it's really cool to be able to open up to people in this community because there's such just good people. Now you have those certain ones that you're just like, oh my gosh.
We don't know. Yeah.
And then you got people like, I'm not gonna mention no names, that just safety you up every day. Well, do you got this? Is this certified with this?
You don't clip in. No, I do not. Oh man, no, I know it is, and it's been a lot of fun having you down here. I mean, when I got back, and you and your boat, and then does your boat have a name? Yeah,
Prince of Tides.
Prince of Tides. When you and Prince of Tides were here, and then Aaron was here on his boat, which is kind of similar, or at least similar situation to where the boat's at, and it was just great because I was trying to offload all this stuff from my voyage.
Oh, I got a heck of a kick down.
Oh
man.
my gosh, it was that.
How many kind bars did I get? Oh gosh,
like 800 or something.
Holy
like that.
crap! I was
don't
like,
know.
whoa.
It was probably like $2,000 worth.
Holy crap! Yeah, I finally ran out of them, and I went to the store and bought me like the 15 packs, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh god, $20, 30 of them. Oh, that ain't nothing.
I know, right? Well, I ordered those kind of in bulk, or at least directly from the place, so they were probably a little cheaper. But no, I needed to get everything off here. I still have, a decent
And
amount.
it's
of
funny
that
how it works
long
too,
life
because you had
stuff.
that 200-gallon.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and you were
Yeah,
able
and
to
you
sell
took
that
off,
for
and
me.
I
That
ended
was
up.
great.
Yeah, it was. I mean, just things work out. It's,
No, it is. Well, and that's one of those things, I've always found that the boating community are typically very, very open to helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. We just, it's sort of like, I wonder if it's just because our houses can sink that whenever somebody
And they
needs to do
do.
something
That's
on
the
their
thing.
boat, like
Yeah.
we're all like, yeah, no worries. We'll help you with that one.
Yeah, I've talk about I mean, we could talk for days, man. I got all these
Oh,
thoughts
I
in
know,
my
right?
head, but
Well, and we're already past an hour, but
holy crap.
who knows? Maybe we'll do another
Do a
follow up
round
one
two.
later on, something like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to thank you for coming on, and I definitely appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see. We need to get out. I want to sail on that boat, just
Oh,
out
man.
here, just out here.
We will.
As soon as
On
it warms
good,
up a little
clear
bit.
day, I'll stick around for that.
As long as if we can get it up in the 60s, like mid 60s,
That'd be nice. A
that'll
couple
be
more
good.
weeks.
All right, Jason. Thank you very much.
Hey, happy selling, guys.
All right, everybody. Big thanks for Jason coming over and sharing some of his experiences. And just a quick update. The audio version of Sailing into Oblivion is now available on Audible. So if you would rather listen to it than read it, and you actually enjoy my voice, you can pick it up on there. And as always, if you do enjoy the podcast, please consider becoming a patron. Just go to podbean.com and look for Sailing into Oblivion and become a patron. Keep this podcast on the air. Have a good day and sail safe.